Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self love, self care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about police reform. Is it possible? I'm Lady Bounce.
Kryptonite, y'all.
All right. First, before we start, I got to give a shout out to TK and the AM and Bonfire Radio for playing our episode Police and the Police during their Juneteenth weekend celebration. They provided the soundtrack for my entire weekend. And it was the bomb. I was like, hey, we didn't came up in the world. I have to give them a special shout out.
I was at work, so I didn't get a chance to hear it. But or maybe no, that's not what happened. I take that back. I had just got off work and I fell asleep before I had a chance to hear it.
It's okay. I heard it, and then I jumped in the chat room and participated in conversation with the people that were listening live.
See, I wish I could have done that. I know. You know what?
Yeah.
I might have to give up a job to try and halfway pursue this full time.
Okay.
Because I can be part of those. Because I want to be part of those conversations. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, it was real dope.
Your brother is calling me right now.
He just sent me a text. We busy.
I know. Look, and if I answer the phone, it's gonna take a half an hour to hang up with me.
Right.
You know how you talk.
Yeah. Don't answer that.
Call him back. Everyone call him back. I love you, bro. I'll call you back.
Right. All right. Go ahead and read off that mindfulness minute. Let's get this.
Okay. All right. There was too much happening right there with me. Okay. Let me get readjusted. Because I gotta be able to see. I'm old now. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I have the power within myself to make needed changes in my life. I have had more than enough delay, more than enough excuse making. Today is the day when I will take decisive action to improve my own circumstances. Change only happens in our lives when we want it badly enough, when it is just too painful to endure another day of the same old thing. A revolution must happen deep within, a strong determination to embark on a new course of action, whether that might be looking for a new job, getting more exercise, or going back to school. The initial changes may prove difficult, but with each action taken, the new path comes to seem easier and gradually becomes a new routine. But change never happens without that inner resolve followed by decisive action. You may have some life change that you would like to make today. Look deep within yourself and feel the vibration of ascent flowing through your being. Feel yourself saying yes to all of the easy and difficult changes that you will make. Feel yourself saying yes to the renegotiation of duties and relationships. See yourself succeeding in your mind's eye, taking up a whole new way of life. Immediately take action to put your life change into motion. Yep, that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
That's what it's time for. So I was very, very happy, hopeful, I guess you could say, to see the change that took place in Colorado with this law that just passed, where they addressed qualified immunity and they make police officers financially responsible for any violations to anyone's civil rights. Yep.
I like it.
Me too.
They have another bill that their governor has already said that as soon as it gets on his desk, he's signing it. And that's amazing. And he said he's signing it with no changes being made. He's not asking for anything more. He thinks that this plan is comprehensive. The only I'll talk. The only issue I see with this plan is that he's given the police department 3 years to train their officers and put it into play, which is great. But some of this stuff needs to be put into play immediately. Like it should be. We're not even going to wait the 3 years to train everybody to make sure everybody knows and everybody understands. It is immediate. This is what it is, and you better understand it. Well, but I'm okay with the 3 years, I guess.
Well, I mean, because I haven't read that part. So what is he asking? The 3 things.
Well, not it's more than 3 things, but he's just saying he's giving them 3 years to get it together.
Oh, that's what I mean. All right, my bad.
So first, it's saying that they have to collect racial data on their on officers' encounters with the public where interaction took place and circumstances, including the suspect, the crime that occurred, and what led up to the situation. Agencies will also have to report whenever one of their officers unholsters their weapon or points it at a citizen, whether they fire it or not. So as soon as you unbuckle it, that's a report, and you have to report it. Use of force data must also be collected and sent to the state once a year. What led up to that encounter, what type of force they used, and any information on injuries to the suspect or the officer. Then it says, officers must intervene if a colleague is acting inappropriately. So it says under any circumstances, the board shall not reinstate any peace officer certification unless the officer is exonerated by a court. The measure also safeguards to better track officers who are fired from police departments from going from one agency to the other.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. And it says, if a fellow officer is using inappropriate force against a member of the public, that officer must intervene. You can be fired and face charges if you do not intervene.
Well, I think some of the stuff I think there are some of the things that you're naming off are going to automatically be put into play. And those things have to be automatically put into play in order for everything else to follow through in the next 3 years. You know what I'm saying? If you have officers immediately standing up for civilians and immediately reporting those bad officers, then of course you're not going to be able to collect any of that data until people start doing it. You feel me? Right. So, so all of that's going to come into play. I don't think 3 years is I don't think it's too unreasonable, especially dealing with what we're dealing with on such a grand scale in which we dealing with it. And I don't understand why the U.S. government can't just come up and adopt the same policies, the same. You know what I'm saying? It's not rocket science. Stop killing people. If you don't kill nobody, you ain't got to pay for no funerals. You know what I'm saying? If you don't beat somebody's ass, then you ain't got to pay nobody hospital bill.
Right.
Flat out. That's just you ain't got to like me to treat me with some respect. Just don't live nowhere where I live. You can get away from me. You know what I'm saying? You can get away from me. But when it comes to your job, then just do your job, bro.
Right. Okay, here's some more. It says every law enforcement officer must wear their body cameras. The only time you're allowed to turn off your body camera is if you're dealing with a victim of sexual assault or children. If you turn off your body camera, you can and will be fired. Every time you have an incident in which you're using your dash cam or your body camera, you have to release that video to the public unedited within 45 days of the incident. Then it has to be
they should turn off their body camera for nothing. I don't care if it is, especially with children. Don't turn off your body camera dealing with children.
I guess they're saying like before it's released to the public, you wouldn't want, if your child was a victim of sexual abuse.
Then that's where editing comes in. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't do it like. This boy is not playing. He is really trying to get in touch with me, right? Like, why you pick right now?
So then they talked about, the qualified immunity. It says officers can be sued in their individual capacities, which means like right now we sue the police department in the city and possibly the state if a police officer has misconduct. Now this is saying that they can sue the officer themselves and go after that pension. So you don't get to do wrongdoing and then retire and get that full little cushy, pension.
Exactly though.
Then they immediately they have to stop using chokeholds and carotid chokeholds, which I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it's when you put pressure on both sides of the neck, which cuts off the blood flow. So they're not allowed to do that. They have to stop that immediately, and they have to stop using chokeholds immediately. when they're responding to protests and demonstrations, they are not allowed to use tear gas or rubber bullets without first announcing it and giving the people a chance to calm down, to walk away.
No,
Yes.
look, no, listen, this is my thing. If you, when it comes to a protest, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to a protest, unless it is an issue of something being damaged, then you just don't use the shit. Right. If you got people out there with signs and holding their fist up and chanting, why do you need to bring any of that to that picnic?
Right. Oh, I agree. Then it
so that should just be taken, like, I feel like that should just flat out be taken off the table. Like, don't even put them in the situation where they could possibly shoot a rubber bullet. It's not necessary. It's a peaceful protest during the day. I could see if they were like, okay, it's nighttime. Yeah, things had to have a tendency to get a little bit more rowdy at night. Right. That's when things really start tending to happen under the cover of night. I can kind of understand you having them on the back, though, on the back end, not front and center, but having those individuals on the back end, like when things start getting out of hand. But no, not for peaceful protests.
Yeah, but like even to take that a step further, I think that if you've had officers out at a protest all day long, when nightfall comes, you instantly switch out those officers. So
well, that's what they should be doing anyway.
Right, but a lot of
times
that's
a shift change.
Right, you should have a shift change because those new officers coming on are not coming in angry and already tired and bitter because they've been out in the hot sun all day long dealing with people. You definitely should do a shift change at night anyway, and that in itself could help cause, de-escalation because you got fresh-eyed, bushy-tailed officers coming onto the scene and not ones who've been standing there all day.
And let's talk about how these officers is really getting offended and really getting upset because they're not able to just beat the shit out of random individuals anymore.
No, you can't.
Like these people are really getting upset to the point where they are giving up those pensions and they are quitting. Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think they about to be sitting around doing? They just said they've been on the force 15, 10, 12 years. Now all of a sudden they quit the force.
Right.
You think they about to sit at home and collect unemployment?
No, they're gonna go into like private security. They're gonna be at your local grocery store.
Not just that. Listen, we talking about them people we talking about those people getting jobs. I ain't even talking about them getting jobs. Now they going into war mode. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta listen. These people have been talking this up and talking about this since they took the shackles off. These people been sitting around getting ready for some type of issue since forever. Like they not sitting up here about to just relinquish all their pension and relinquish all the money that they've been making thus far just to go into private security. They're not doing that. That's not where their purpose will be served. You understand what I'm saying though?
Right.
I mean, for real. Because why are you so upset over a chokehold? Why are you so upset that it's not okay for you to kill me and not have repercussions for your actions? Why is it such an issue for you to be an accountable human being when you have lives in your hand that you're supposed to be taking care of every day? That's a problem. These people been on this police force, they've been in the military, they've been waiting for shit to go down and they are plotting and strategizing. And I'm telling you, that's why I'm such an advocate for CCWs, because the shit, like, I'm sorry, it's scary. I mean, for real, you got to think about this shit, like, and then people want to say, well, why do the people of Ohio have Confederate flags, and why do people in Ohio care? Look, we might be in Ohio, but damn it, we right next to Kentucky. It's just water.
Oh, absolutely.
That hatred jumps right over that shit. We might be north, but we way south of that joint.
Yeah, I think it's real crazy because, in a lot of ways, Dayton is a fantastic and great place to live. In Ohio in general, but at the same time, Ohio is hella racist. And if you think that it's not, all you got to do is any of these stories that have come out here recently go to Dayton Daily News Facebook page or WHIO or DTN's Facebook page and read some of those comments. I had to like really, for my own mental health care and protection, stop reading the comments, because as much as I'm like, this city is great, like we got the arts, we got this, we got that, and I'm like, man, there's a whole bunch of people that I'm like, I ain't
we
know
in the
it
same,
was really like that.
We in the same city,
right?
No, I'm talking about because you got a whole lot of, and I ain't got all that to say. We in the same city, but okay. So anyway,
I mean, it depends on where you look. I mean, you can find good and you can find beauty anywhere you
True
look.
enough.
If you're always, looking for the negative, then you're gonna find what you're looking for, like they say. But
that's true, because I will tell you the bike paths are beautiful. The nature, Ohio's landscape, as far as its natural beauty, it's all right. It ain't nothing to scoff at. Take a nice little bike ride see some water, some trees.
Yeah.
Say hi to Bambi. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. But Ohio races. Yeah, they racist.
It is,
when.
And
then you seen. Okay, so I was reading the article about what happened in Bethel.
Oh my God, that was crazy. The main man that was hollering in that little girl's face, which first of all, I didn't know that little girl was 16. She looked big, but she was only 16. But the main man that was hollering in her face about, go home, we don't want you here, he has biracial grandchildren. And as a result of him being on camera, his daughter made a public Facebook post where she said, you and your wife are no longer invited in my daughter and my son's life. And it was like a really long post, and she cut him off. She was like, you'll never be around my daughter again. And you show me how you really feel, I'm done with you.
Let me tell you what I got from all of that, from everything that I've read, because I don't know what clip you're talking about. I didn't see that.
Okay.
But what I will say is this. These people, first of all, Bethel is 97% white. So you are in Trump land, okay? You in Trump nation. That's Trump nation. Is what we talking about. All right. So that's one. Two, you have these people that the only source of news they have is mainstream media and Fox News and all of that stuff, right?
Right.
So here you go with these three combinations of Fox News being who they are and what they are, and we know what that is. Trump country, so they following and listening to Fox News anyway. Mainstream media, which they're showing the protests flat out. They showing what's happening, and these people are the epitome of the scaredness that white Americans feel, because I don't think it was so much an issue of we don't care about your cause, go home. It was an issue of we're scared you're going to tear up our city. We don't want you to tear up our city. We're trying to protect our things. And like the disconnect is so, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that they don't understand or they don't see how the equation of your material possessions to the loss of human life. They just disconnected. I don't know what else to say except they're so afraid of they're afraid of the change. They're afraid of retaliation. You know what I'm saying? And they do feel like now they're coming to terror, because they thought there was going to be busloads of hundreds of people, protesters coming to tear up their city and run them up through their city. So they feel like, well, we're going to protect our city. We're going to protect our stuff. We didn't do anything to anybody. And they just really do feel like that. They don't understand. It's not about you personally, what you have personally done. Nobody said you went out and did anything to anybody. You know what I'm saying? But it is an issue of systems that certain people benefit from and certain people don't. And those things have got to be addressed. And you got to be able to make that connection to even attempt to understand what the other person is going through. And these small town people just not willing to do. They can't see the forest for the trees.
And you talk about, they watch mainstream media, and of course mainstream media painted the protests and the protesters as these violent looters and whatnot. But one thing that I seen on social media news as opposed to mainstream news is a number of white people who are actually the ones that are causing the destruction. I've seen 2 videos, in fact, where it was somebody white that was busting the windows of an AutoZone, and a group of black people go up to him and was like, "What are you doing? This is peaceful. Stop it. Cut it out." But it was done to totally discredit, the peaceful protest and what was going on. I have another picture that somebody sent to me of the police arresting this white guy in blackface who was tearing up stuff. And I was like, oh my God, this is serious.
People don't think that stuff is real. Listen, somebody did a video where how when you how at Halloween you can go get a mask done.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody did a video where these white men had on these masks of black faces.
That.
Did you see that?
Yeah. But go ahead, for the viewers who haven't seen it. Go ahead, explain it.
But no, that's crazy. You got these and they was like cops is running around. With all of that stuff they be saying happening in Chicago, and they like, look, police is out here doing this. Y'all think it's black folks out here going crazy. Police is out here causing all this drama. There was video after video of police being shady, like lurking through people's yards, through people's windows. You know what I'm saying? And when they getting caught, they like running.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like get out here before you get arrested type stuff, and rolling out, like moving fast to get up out the way. Right. And it's just crazy. And it's like y'all will go through all of this, y'all gonna like it's not even like a design. It's something even more treacherous than it being like by design. You know what I'm saying? It's they just really set out to vilify black people as though, I don't know. I don't like we really, the biggest trick that they ever got off was convincing the rest of the world that they not monsters.
Right.
All of the pillaging and all of the salvaging, and that's another thing too that I need people to think about. America has shown its history throughout its history that it does not resolve anything without first resorting to violence.
Mm-hmm.
This has been America's history throughout America since the beginning. Since somebody's ship landed on the rock, that has been what America has been about.
Well, America was originally used as the prison for other countries. So we started out as savage animals.
Yes. The people they were seeing the people that they were seeing, the undesirable people from England. They would send them over here.
Right.
They would send them over here to colonize, and like the crooked lawyers and the crooked judges and stuff. Instead of making them do prison time, where they gave them a choice, instead of doing prison time, you go over here and you set up a land in the name of the king and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people be failing to realize, that much they did teach you in school, was that the way that America came to be was from the rejects.
Yeah, it was found from the start.
Yeah.
Our Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem that people hold so dear. Even, KRS-One has been teaching it for years. That's the first gangster song. Like really. That's all it's a war song, and we use it as our national anthem basically to let other countries know we about that life. But why? And then we hold that so dear, and when you go places and people hear it and they got the hand over their heart and they're all solemn, and then people are crying. I'm like, what you crying for? I'd be like, I listened it.
First of all, it's the visuals, because the rock is wriggling. You know all that bullshit. And then the fact that you don't even know, half of America don't even know there's a third verse.
Right.
They don't even know about the third verse.
No, because it never gets sung and it never gets played, because that song is like 20 minutes long. But America
is good for that, though. America is good for covering up its little imperfections.
Oh, absolutely.
America's very good at editing.
Yeah, because when I hear people say stuff about, we're upholding the Constitution, I'd be like, wait a minute, which part? The part that says that black people are still 3/5 of a human? Because wait a minute, where they do that at? But we're really good about that, and even, the Bible and religion. We take the parts of the Bible that we like, and we use that to hammer and control other people. And then when somebody throws the opposite in our face, another piece of the Bible that we don't necessarily like, then we want to be like, oh, well, that's the Old Testament. So because it's in the Old Testament, it don't count no more. Like, wait a minute, we can't take this piece because we like it and then not take this piece. You can't complain about your First Amendment and your Second Amendment rights when you look down into the 12th and 13th Amendments and we still only 3/5 of a human.
You know what I'm saying?
I
don't understand how these people will sit up here and say, we care about the fetus. We care about the life of an unborn child. But when a child get here, they little black lives don't matter.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I don't understand. There's such a big contradiction. You want to tell me what I can and can't do with my body, as far as whether or not I can have a child. But then once that child gets here, you don't want nothing to do with it.
Right.
You don't want to ensure that it's nourished. You don't want to ensure that it's healthy. You don't want to ensure that it's mentally healthy. You don't want to ensure that it's able to provide for itself financially. You don't want to make sure that health care is provided or education is available to this child. You don't want to make sure that its living environment, for at least the first 5 years of its life, is not without chaos or discourse. You don't want to do any of that. You just want to make it to where it get here. But once it get here, then you don't want nothing else to do with it. Once it get here, it's a bird. But before it get here, it got the right to get here to be a bird.
Right. Right. All right, so let's get ready to wrap this up. Our self-care assignment for this week, and this is going to be a rough one. Unplug from social media 1 day a week. So for 1 day, stay off Instagram, stay off Facebook, stay off Twitter, TikTok, whatever you use for social media. 1 day a week, unplug.
Well, that's what's up. And I will say, we probably didn't talk a whole lot about the reform like we should have.
Nah, there's always.
We tend to get off topic a little bit.
We can always do another one.
But it shouldn't be too much to ask for people to stop killing us, and it shouldn't really have to be a law. But if it's going to have to be a law, then yeah, you should have to pay for it. If you're gonna take the life of my child, my son, my father, my brother, then you should pay for his funeral. You should pay for that. You should lose your job. You should lose your pension, and then you should go to jail. Because if you get found guilty of that, then yeah, you should go to jail.
Yeah, if I kill somebody, I'm going to be found guilty. I'm going to go to jail. And in some states, I'm going to get the death penalty. Whether I was justified or not. Because that's the other piece, is that when it comes to police, we like to justify their killings. If I kill somebody in self-defense, I'm still going to jail. Maybe not for as long as if I just cold-blooded murder somebody, but I'm going to go to jail.
But isn't that such an oxymoron that a state that's open and carry does not have self-defense laws? Doesn't that sound like a conundrum?
It does indeed.
Because what's the point of the one if you don't have the other?
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense. But okay.
All right, so as always, we got to wrap it up with the brain science behind it all. So your brain science for this week: how the 2190 rule helps you build good habits and a better life. So we all want to make good habits, whether it's in business or in our hobbies, in our personal lives. One popular method to build good habits is the 2190 rule. This rule is very simple. Commit to a personal or professional goal for 21 straight days. After 3 weeks, the pursuit of that goal should have become a habit. Once you have established that habit, continue to do it for another 90 days. If you can keep up something for 3 weeks and then 90 days, then it should become a permanent lifestyle change. Now that you've established what the rule is, here's some ways to stay positive while you do it. There's one way to stay focused. However, finding one notable positive thing in every day and write it down. So as you're working on your new habit, Write down something positive that happened to you that day as a result of doing that new habit. It will give your brain those feel-good endorphins that says, keep going, girl, you got this. Or keep going, man, you got this.
Okay.
Okay? So, in doing this, you will find that you start to see more positive things in your life. And if you like, you can write down more than one thing a day. But you only need one at minimum. Life will probably begin to look a lot brighter. You'll find the negative things don't drag you down in the way that they once did. Find 3 things in your life that you feel need the most help and focus on one habit at a time.
Sounds
one thing at a time.
Possible.
I like it.
It sounds possible.
The first thing that you need to do is follow us on social media, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Anchor, Spotify. Email us at flywithusla@gmail.com. Let us know what you want to see on the show. What's bothering you? What do you want to see us talk about? What do you want to see us dive deeper into? And we'll get those things, put together for a show and then give you a shout out for giving us the show idea. I'm Lady Bounce.
I'm Kryptonite, y'all.
And we out of here.
All right.